John Such is here in Artist Alley during Chicago Comic-Con, and I'm here with one of my favorites, and one of the word balloon favorites, I'm pleased to say. We get a lot of feedback, positive feedback, when I speak to Howard Chaykin, and it's a pleasure to see him now as he is signing and doing sketches here in Artist Alley. It's a pleasure to see you.
How you doing, pal? What's going on?
The usual, man, and enjoying what we're seeing, and so happy to hear that Dominick Fortune is coming back. Way to go!
I mean, it was the funniest thing. I had not a product I ever would have promoted. Axel asked me to do it, and I said, "Yeah." I mean, like, well, yeah, hell yeah, exactly. and it enabled me to bring up a whole bunch of material that I'd never had any opportunity to do, and do a fun 4-issue run with some historical stuff, some adventure stuff, some sexy stuff, some violent stuff, and just have a great, airplanes, guns, cars, and really cool clothes. What more can you ask with life?
It's the full Chaykin experience, which is great. That's what we're looking for.
Thank you very much for your patience. Appreciate it. I'm back to you.
Excellent. And you told me it's been 22 years since you've been in Chicago.
Absolutely.
And of course, it's crazy. And you were saying that you went to Columbia University here in Chicago. Columbia College, excuse me. But also, I think of you, of course, of your years with First Comics and American Flag. And are there any, like, Evanston or Chicago funny stories that you could quickly
I can tell for a mixed audience. I mean, the problem remains that my experience living in Chicago when I was a kid was some of the most insane, wild times I've ever had. And the experience I had working with First, particularly with a bunch of guys who were no longer around, would get me arrested. So I felt it's imperative that I not share this with you in a public venue.
Fair enough.
I prefer to stay unindicted.
Recent quirky runs, and I only say quirky because I was sorry that they ended as quickly as they did, that I really enjoyed. Your association with Mark Guggenheim on Blade. It was a blast.
Mark's stuff is so good, and I said more. And every time I talk about Mark, I'm sure you're getting tired to hear about this, but Mark is the most artist-friendly writer I've ever worked with. His stuff breaks down. There's a narrative sensibility to his stuff that is so accessible to me that it was just a gas. I mean, I had no intention of doing it. Blade is not a character I care about particularly, but the premise he developed and the way he approached it was so cool that I couldn't say no. And it was an absolute great year. I had a great time.
Excellent. And I would also follow that by saying two guys that seem to be on your wavelength, even though they're younger, Matt Fraction and Rick Remender on The Punisher.
Again, an absolute gas. The funniest thing, as I said earlier to somebody else, is these guys know nothing about New York real estate and New York geography. So some of the things they asked me to draw was like, no, okay, but all right. And I had a great time with it. They're both truly hysterically funny guys. And again, there's also stuff I won't get arrested on, so that we'll keep it there. But a great job. Lovely. Again, it's guns, cities, and cars.
And I definitely recommend people picking up the hardcover of Dynamite's repackaging of American Flag.
Your lips to God's ear, pal.
Anything else coming up other than Dominick Fortune?
Nothing I can talk about because, well, actually, no. I'm going to be doing some work for IDW. I'm going to be doing some G.I. Joe villain stuff, which I'm really excited about.
Writing and drawing?
No, I'm just drawing.
Okay.
I got a call from Andy Schmidt over there, who's one of my favorite people, and he said, "You want to do this?" And I said, "Yeah, it'd be kind of cool." They're short pieces, but they're interesting character pieces. And I've read the first script. It's a hoot, and I'll be drawing that, I guess, the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And there's a bunch of other stuff as well. That because I respect the client's judgment and being the ones to disperse the information, I'll leave it to them.
Fair enough. When the time comes and the announcement is made, I'll be bugging you on the phone, and we'll have another wonderful conversation. Excellent, man. Always good to talk to you, man.
My pleasure, guy. Behave. Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.